Hello and welcome back to Alchemy Factory, the one plot challenge, and welcome back to one last turn. As you might can see on the day counter here, I skipped a few days of the gameplay for you guys, and the reason I did that is just because all I've been doing since the end of the last episode is make a bunch of empty floors, extend the elevator a bit. Turns out with these elevators, you can't stack them. I mean, you can, but then they get separated. They don't become one elevator. So if you wanted to have one elevator across all of your floors, you need to make it that height from the beginning. So I had to tear down the elevator, make a new one, stuff like that. Anyways, like I said in the last episode, today we are going to work on liquids and fluids with the thermal extractor here. We're at height 257. I do believe this is floor 17, by the way. I do believe that this is the floor down here isn't quite enough, but I might be wrong. Yeah, so this one is 241. It's not quite enough. Have to be 17 for us to get that 200% production multiplier, which effectively cuts the input cost by 66% or into 1/3, which is really nice. It does so at a cost of some heat, but that really isn't the biggest of issues given that we have panacea potions. So we're gonna do a floor here, maybe probably multiple eventually, but we're gonna spend this episode sort of taking all of our liquid producing setups and moving them up here, and then we will be running pipes down the side of the building with our infrastructure elevator here, and that's gonna be real nice. Now, how are we gonna set this up? Well, we can place 6 thermal extractors onto one furnace, and then just run a belt down the middle with the inputs. So that is pretty much what we're gonna do, and then we're just gonna have some different lines of it. I do want to see, do we have enough? We don't have enough bricks right now. I do want to get some walls onto here eventually, but we will just do it out, and we can move stuff around if we want at a later point. And then we'll probably end up having, we can't have them this close, so every other line would have to be distanced like so. And then we'll probably just have another setup over here, and we'll just have the last one over here. Just for now, we will have half. So what are we gonna do on each of them? Do I have unlocked signs? Maybe not. Don't have any money on either, so I wonder where it is, and it might just be... It might be in the workbench. Gloves, nose restock. I'd look into getting more inventory capacity, to be honest, but we will need to get pocket watches, so they'll have to wait a little bit. I think if we just take a look at the Can't see exceeding goods here or in materials. Oh, we can't see the materials. We're definitely using linseed oil. We're definitely using fruit wine. We're using lime water for some stuff, and we're using brine. Also using brandy, but brandy can't be done in the extractor, so that's not really relevant. Lavender also not in the extractor, and neither is aquavita. So we need four right now. We need four different setups, and I'm not quite sure if I want to place them all onto this floor or if I want to have it on separate floors just yet, but we can just start like this and see how it goes. Anyways, back to the bottom floor here. We're down to the bottom floor here, and let's get some bricks. And let's get some glass. And then is there anything else we are needing? We have a lot of malachite on us that I don't really want to be carrying around. So I'm just gonna throw them into a box here. There we go. Urgent request 3 Jupiters. I mean, that would be nice if we could. There's one here. And then I do believe our Jupiter setup is on floor 3. Should have some in the box here. Don't have enough space in the inventory, of course. Let's get rid of this black powder then. Urgent requests are always very nice. 200% market value, especially on such good things. Definitely want to get that. Now, is there these? Let's just try to see if there was any way we had signs somewhere that I hadn't found. Probably want to get this reinforced platform. It can be used sometimes, but no, it doesn't seem like is the case. So I wonder why I can't find it. Oh, there it is. Notice boards is the signs. Okay. What was I about to say? I forgot to call. I did ask it to go down, but I guess we took it back up. Okay, so back up to 17, I do believe. But we need those for... We need those for liquids, and I would prefer if the setup of making the liquid was also contained up here. So that probably weighs in the favor of having multiple floors. God damn it, out of stone, really? But yeah, that probably calls in the favor of having multiple floors, because then we can do both the production of the items required as well as the actual extraction of the liquid. So I think we will let's start with the easy one, and the easy ones. That is linseed and fruit wine, because those are simply just extracting the plant. Simply just extracting plants. So we need for, let's see here, for the linseed oil, we just need flax, and for that we just need, where is it? Nursery. Sure, we can just run them here in the back. We'll just get a, I do believe it's gonna be here. Let's throw these half steps up just so we can hit the correct the correct what's it called? So they alternate, right? So the correct alternation. That should do it. Pretty sure. Yep. No, okay. There's a bit too much glass. Don't want to carry around this soap, I guess. And turquoise really is just zero consequence. Fertile catalyst. Let's just drop that off at the Panacea Potion floor. One down, I guess. Oh, it is full. Okay, I guess we'll just throw it out then. Okay, so linseed oil is just flax seeds. We don't have any portals. So the disadvantage I feel of this personal elevator, it takes a little bit of time, and if you do it, like if you go to the wrong floor, it's a little bit annoying. Our profits are looking really good again now that we have the Mars up and running. Very nice indeed. And hopefully, I mean, a lot of this sand is being used for brine. So when we are done today with this episode, hopefully we'll have brine up and running as well, and this will be 1/3 of that, so we'll be able to save like 400, probably 400 silver. So that's gonna be really good. Let's see if we can just say flaxseed. Then we'll say red currant seed. And then we'll say those again. There we go. Already had some red currant seeds. Cool. Yeah, so that's gonna be very nice. And of course the rest are just using some of the, I mean, the quick lime that we're using, lime water, whatever, is being done by what should we call it? By rocks. So we'll also save a bit there. And for these two that we'll be starting with, the flax, the linseed, and the the linseed and the fruit wine. Those are just using fertilizer right now, but then we'll save a bit on fertilizer, which isn't too bad either. We're gonna need money up here. We're gonna need fertilizer up here. And I don't think I will need fuel as well, but probably it'll just be panacea potions, and we won't actually need a separation there. Do we need money up? Yeah, we will need money up here. Okay, so this should be our fertilizer probably, and we will need a nursery, and we will just take down the fertilizer as so, and this will just be flax. That'll run up here, and then we will get some pipelines. There's infinite throughput on pipelines, as we know, which is very nice, and we are out of iron. We'll have that somewhere. So with these 6 extractor, that's another thing that we have to see. How much does one extractor do? It's 1 flax, 250, so that doesn't really help me for 2 seconds. Really 1 second, so it would be 60 in 1 maybe. I don't know, I need some more iron anyway, so let's just go check one of our linseed, and we can check the other ones while we're at it, just so we know how many lines we need, or how many yeah, 1 does 60, which produces 3,000, so it's gonna be 60 to 9,000. And of course 1 nursery does 120, so we can actually only have 2 extractors per nursery. That is good to know. With fruit wine and red currant, it's 6 extractors per nursery. As I said, good to know. Oh no. Good to know. Do we not store excess iron down here? It doesn't seem so. I would have thought we did. Then we probably have, maybe have some up here on floor 6. No, there might be some left over on 7 then. There isn't, but we do have a little bit in our throwaway buckets here. 9, is there something up here? No. Do we have 2? I feel like we have 2 buckets. Right, there's also one back here. might be one downstairs as well, right? But that's empty because it's not running. Okay. Back up to 17, and so we need 3 nurseries, but that also, we also need 3 lines. Like one is a full belt, we need 3 belts here. So we'll bring this into the height, and we'll bring this in. Question is what we're gonna do at the end here. I'm not quite sure, because we can't just drop it in. We can only drop it in on one side. We can't carry it up like so for one of the belts, and then we can do the same thing can't do the same thing for the other 2, but we can't do it for any more than that, can we? Is there a way? I mean, we can do 5. Right, we can do 5. So this will do 5. It's not the prettiest, for sure. Thinking we could probably, if we wanted to, we could. I mean, that's the same. It's going to be the same footprint on the side here, so that could be okay. We have to do something different with the pipes, though. Possible. Which sort of, it frees up the space for fuel, which is nice. Not sure that I like the look of it though. And it doesn't really scale all that well, because we have 3 3 wide thing here for getting things into the height. So question is, I mean, the reason why I want to pack as many extractors onto one furnace as possible is just to reduce the amount of buffer space that's needed for the panacea. Because I'm thinking I'll just throw panacea potions up here, and if we have less extractors on more furnaces, then we'll need to use more panacea potions to fuel these furnaces in buffer space. I mean, it'll be the same rate, it'll just be spread across, so we need a bigger starting capacity, or a bigger buffer, which is why it would be nice, but I'm not sure. I mean, alternative to this, we can have 2 sitting next to each other like this, with 6 sitting here, and then we will have there will be 1, so this still requires to have this requires us to have 3 inputs as well. We'll have 1 that just comes up like this. Then if we have do this. And oh, that hurts. That's interesting. We are selling Mars. We are selling 6 Saturns too. What is the... I mean, you're not even doing that much in salt. Where is the big spender here? I can't see it so well compared to the other times, is what I'm thinking. A ledger, so see here, day 105. We had 160, 290 in rocks and seeds, and then 300 in coal. 300 in coal, rocks and seeds are the same. This is the same. Salt is a bit less. These are sort of extra things that aren't necessary. Sulfur 88. Is it the so expenses is 565 and 80858? Was it just, I mean, was the expenses the same? Okay, the expenses were pretty much the same. It's just that the earnings were a lot higher here. I mean, it is 280 silver, I guess, on one. On one Mars, and we only sold one, so. Okay. I mean, it doesn't really make sense to make it this much. Maybe we'll just, what we'll do is we will just have the production and the usage a little bit closer together. If we take this and throw it down here, we'll throw it in this direction. I do think I like that. And then we can just turn this thing around. That's the first. Okay, and then we simply put them together like this. Very nice. And some scaffolding to get it to work together. I like this. Very neat. Actually, if I were to say so myself, and then we'll take this and we'll just move it once over so we can get, where did that oh, that's annoying. Cut. So this little thing here will be three full belts of flax, which should be equivalent to each extractor should do 9,000 linseed. So that'd be 9, 18, 27, so 54,000 liters. And we should be able to just pull it out of the window here. And I'm thinking we'll do it on the side where we can just get it sort of like straightish down. We'll probably run it along. Actually, maybe we'll do it not there at all. Maybe we'll do it out of this window and just run it down the side of the building. We'll have one here, one here, one here, right? One here, and one here. Cool. So that should be our linseed. We just need some panacea potions up here, and we are just gonna get rid of that top one there because it is just gonna be panacea potions, is what I'm thinking. Now, obviously, this is quite a large buffer that we would need, so I'm gonna hand feed this initially. Panacea potions on flax and on these are gonna last us a ton of time, really a lot of time. So I think it's 7 maybe. To be honest, it might be 8 or 9. It was there. It was 9. Then we're reducing it here, but it isn't completely backed up yet, so we do have to go down one floor to 8, which is where we are sort of using them right now, and they are, I mean, they're not completely backlogged, but we do have a couple, and we need 5, which should be 1 for each of the things up there. Cool, so that should take care of our linseed oil needs for a decent chunk of time at least. Let's see here. I want to get a box temporarily. One here, it lasts for 5,000 seconds, which is, how much is that even? That's how much is that? So it's like 100, maybe like 90-ish minutes, like an hour and a half or something like that. That should be no issues there. And this does 321 when it's actually running, and of course this one should. Don't want flags. Cool. Okay, so that is our linseed. We just have to sort of pipe that down to wherever we may need it in the future. And let's just move this box here out of the way. Next up is gonna be fruit wine, and that's a little simpler because that is what I wanted to do with my original design. We'll still go with, I think we'll just, yeah, we'll throw them in down here in this end. We'll we'll sort of go with a similar looking design. One of these is enough to handle this though, and they need to be moved out one space because we need to pull down the fertilizer on this line here. There we go. And then we will have 6 extractors, and they will be placed. Okay, yeah. Okay, so we can have them like that. Okay, so let's move this here instead. Where did it go? It went there, and we will do this. Here we go. And that should be that. We do need 2 more panacea potions for this, though. We'll get our pipes out of that window like so. Does leave a little bit less room for linseed, but I think we don't need that as much either, so that's gonna be fine. I just want to throw down some signs before I forget this though. I'm just gonna say linseed. So linseed, 54,000 liters per minute, and we will do one down here that says fruit wine, so it really should be, no, it is linseed oil, fruit wine at, and then we're doing 200, so that should be doing 600, so this should be 3,600 liters per minute. This is the one that we're gonna need to scale a bit more anyways, so that's good. Let's go grab us a couple more panacea potions just to sort of get that up and running, and we can also double check the rates for extraction on the I think 8 will do. That's fine. Floor 9, we can check the rate here on the extractors. It is 200, so it should be 600, yeah. So that should be 3,600. And how much is it that we want? 24 per brandy maker. We have quite a few brandy makers. So let's just duplicating it is gonna be quite easy. So we'll just leave that for later, and we will instead set up we'll start with brine because quicklime isn't that much of an issue. Now there was a way, I said last time, there is a way, and I'm just thinking whether or not we want to have brine be its sort of its own floor. That's a decent return. Good sales on Saturns. No Jupiters, but that's okay. Yeah, so there is, I'm thinking whether or not I want brine to be its own floor, primarily because whether or not I want fruit wine to have like humongous amounts of space, and I probably do. But we could also just duplicate entire floor, right? Don't have that much brick on me, so let's just make it here to begin with. We are gonna go with a cauldron recipe because I think that is just gonna be cheaper overall. Actually, let me just give me a second. Let me just work this out. There is a recipe using cauldrons, but we need 5. That's okay. We need 5 cauldrons per 4 extractors, which is what can run on 1 belt. It should, in theory, be more. It should, in theory, be. What's it called? It should be cheaper than just buying those salt rocks. Of course, we are, by not doing the salt, we are basically eliminating, or at least heavily reducing, the amount of sand that we're generating, which we're currently using for making diamonds. And I'm not entirely sure whether or not that will bite us in the behind later. Right now, all we can use it for is perfect diamonds, which can be used for making sapphire, which is a jewelry. But I'm not sure if it's also needed for something that's actually like needed per se. Maybe we can see if we look here a little bit in the different relics that are coming up. The Venus does not, that's just all the potions. And the Mercury is not, that is other jewelry things. And then we have the Luna, which doesn't seem to need it unless it's needed in moon tiers, which doesn't seem to be the case. And then for the Sol, we do need diamonds there. We need perfect diamonds. We just need 25, which means we need 50 diamonds to get our achievement. So we might be hurting that, and we might need to set up a different way of getting those diamonds at some point. I'll have to look and see if that is the case. But this should at least be fine. Now, question is also, how do we wanna go about fuel versus output? I think like this is gonna be our better option, and we'll do the scaffolding thing here. That should do it. And then we will just take this and we will confirm it, take it onto this side as well. Just fix the look of these. Whatchamacallits? We'll bring it to the back side here as well. We just have to align the input differently. That should all be swell, and then we'll bring it to the front as well. We just have to, well, we won't bring it to the front because we have to, come on, there we go. We have to take care of the fuel input, but we also have to reverse the conveyors. Let's see here. There we go. Now that should be fine. Obviously this doesn't stack, but it could if we move this to exit out here instead, and then we'll take this here. Back and put it onto there. That should be good now. It should stack. Everything should be just fine. Very nice indeed. And then we need our 3 ingredients, which I didn't set up in here, which was a mistake. It's chamomile, it's flax, and it's sage for 24.5 salt, which is why we need the 5 cauldrons, because that's gonna give us like pretty much 120, a little bit more I think. And we can't copy, which is why I should have set this recipe up beforehand. That's okay. We need our 3 nurseries for this though. And we could definitely stack them and make it a little bit more space efficient, but I really can't be bothered right now, but we might end up doing that if we need to. Let's just take this thing and move it. I think I'll move it here. Cool, this looks a little bit better. And then we have our output coming out of here. It does need to go all the way to the floor. floor, because we will be having another furnace that goes here. Ooh, but it does need a singular distance here, unfortunately. But that is also... it's okay, it's just how it is. There we go, and then we throw in our... actually, it doesn't. Because we can only do 4 anyways. Only do 4 extractors. So they will just be on the far side here, and then we can just bring our product down like so, and that is a relatively compact. Obviously it can the nurseries can also fit within the width of this cauldron thing, but that is pretty good in my opinion. This also doesn't need any money, so I'm starting to think we might not need money on this floor after all, if we don't do the quick lime, and I don't think we will. So maybe we'll just do 1. Just do 1 belt infrastructure, which is going to be the panacea potions. And there's no need to sort of drag them down a level either, because they will just be at the level. Cool. And then we will drag these back here. Then we just gotta get fuel up a smidge on that, and this same. Yeah, so that is actually a tiny problem here. So we'll move this one over 1. Or maybe we will just... let's rotate this instead. Cut, rotate. There we go, and then we will just bring this up in between here, and we can mirror this setup on the other side of it. Did not mean to do that. That was unfortunate. And we will enter there, and these will just need to be switched. There we go. And we'll get rid of this layer here. Also means we do need to move all of this out 1 more. To here, otherwise we can't get the fuel up. Of course we could just do something else instead, but I'm not gonna bother. We could have just brought it up, like split it and brought it up before this and had this distance, but that's fine. We'll redo this bit a little more economically later, everyone. We can also stack these to 3 high, so save some space that way if we need to. Doing well on the profits these days, which is really, really good. Would probably prefer if we could have this at the same level. There we go, that's a little bit better. Doesn't take up as much space. And then we just need to hook these together. Question is if we should bring these out at a different spot instead of going all the way over here. I don't know, but for now we're just gonna do it, and then we'll just have to see if it becomes annoying or something like that. We can also run it along the ceiling, which is what we're gonna be doing at the places that these will sort of hook into. Anywho, we need some seeds. Let's just get ourselves a purchasing portal and a box. Actually, I don't think this one is necessary, but we do need a box with some money in it. And we'll start with the chamomile. Okay, we do need a thing to get it out there, and then we need sage. That was actually too much. Cool. And then we need a flax. And we can stop it. So we'll throw a chamomile, and we'll throw a sage, and we will throw down a box. Some of our leftovers, and we'll throw in a flax seed here, and that should do as well. We just need, I was just gonna say we just need 5 more panacea potions, but we actually already went ahead and got some. This will run for a long time as well. It's really only gonna be the chamomile that's gonna be limited in time a little bit. What's that? 3 minutes ish, a little under 3 minutes. Cool, cool, cool. Well, that is then we need a sign, of course. But this should start producing some salt, which should give us brine at 1800 per minute. Yeah, 1800 per minute. That's actually quite a lot. Can't remember, there the sign is. I thought it would be less than this. Brine, 1800. I mean, it's not entirely right, because we're doing 24.5 times 5 salt, which is, what's 1 Okay, so it's 122.5, so that is actually 4 exactly, and then we do 1800 per, which is 7200 liters per minute. Amazing. That is just awesome. So this should definitely cover most of our brine needs, I think. Let's start by hooking this one up just to see. And I think what I'm gonna do is that I'm not gonna demolish the existing setups just yet, because that way we can just manually sort of fill in the panacea potions, and if we don't do it in time, then the original setups should kick in, right? Um, or maybe they'll bear half load or something along those lines. I'm not entirely sure how the calculations are, but that was my thought at least. We'll see if we can do that. Just leave the original things in so that they can take over production if I don't fix it myself. I want it to go down. That's a little bit annoying that we can't do that, so I'm just gonna bring this up and over the window here. Like, it's infinite throughput, it has nothing to do with the length, so it doesn't really matter that we do this. But yeah, what I wanted to say is I want to go down to the place that we're needing this, which is, I believe it's 8 or something. I'm not, it might be 6 to be honest, with the growth potion, right? Which is the primary need. I think we need it somewhere else as well, but it wasn't here. Is it on 5? Yeah, it is. So I wanna bring it in somewhere. And sort of bring it up to the ceiling. Well, that wasn't and then I'll connect it. See, where do we want it to be connected? We don't want it to connect over here. Somewhere along here. There we go. So now that's connected. And then we gotta connect it from upstairs. And then hopefully the new setup will take over the production from the old setup, or they will fight about it somehow. The new production is vastly superior in terms of like money. So the ideal scenario is that it takes over completely. I wasn't thinking, I was hoping it would be a little bit easier to hit. Also, let's see, we don't need it to go that far out. iron, which is understandable. It does take quite a bit of iron. Luckily we have some that is ready to just be thrown away anyways. Then we'll just take it in like so. Ideally, we do it in a similar fashion on all the floors, because that way we can easily sort of remember which is the right pipe. Is that one just gonna be there forever now because I can't? That's fun. Oh no, okay, I can't get it. There we go. There we go. That should do it. These do seem like they're still running. They're definitely processing. There is the... I'm not gonna say problem, but there is the point that pipes have this internal buffer. So that obviously needs to fill up before everything's gonna stop. But then after that, the hope is that it will be the upstairs production that sort of kicks in. And if that's not the case, we can disconnect this existing setup and that will sort of be dormant. Each pipe can have like 42 liters, I believe, 41, 42 liters, something along those lines. So it should almost be full now, and we can see that it is starting to slow down here. Might be the case that the production that is closest is the one that sort of gets started up first. Could also be the case that it's the other way around, which would be perfect for us, but yeah, I am not sure. This should, however, because we are sort of filling up the pipes regardless, it might just be a free-for-all, to be honest. And since these are all doing like 600 each, how much that's... So this is 36 and this is 36. So we're doing the same upstairs. And they'll probably just all rush to sort of fill the pipes. So the ones upstairs do produce a bit more per extractor, so maybe that will cost them to win or something like that. We'll have to see the ledger for the day after this one. That is going to be the real way we can measure this, because these are going to be completely full and blocked as well. But on the ledger the day after this one, we should be able to see, because then we will sort of know, we'll be able to see that a lot less salt is being used, is basically the idea. Of course, that can also be tied to the amount of um, growth potion being used, but that's another story. I want to get more fruit wine. As in, I want to get quite a lot bit more fruit wine. They can't be this close together. That's okay. In that case, we don't have to rotate them. I'm gonna push them in, though. Let's do 5 for now. Customers are waiting, that's never good. Have to check, see what that's all about. First, let's get 8 more Panacea potions, and let's try and connect up these as well. Okay, 8 more Panacea potions down on floor 9, and then we will go check what's going on down at the register. This is the last in-game day of this episode though, so we'll have to be a little bit quick to sort of set up the connections. It was floor 8, of course. But that hopefully is okay, and this is doing quite a big a backlog. That's nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's exactly what we want. That also means that we can eventually, relatively soon, we can set up the Panacea potions to go upstairs to this, so we don't have to manually fill them, and then we can disconnect the old systems entirely. Let's go down to the bottom floor. Remember to call your elevator. When you do so, it's gonna take a little bit of time. I mean, these are doing 50 silver bunches. So I'm not quite sure. I mean, we can't really change the cash register. The only real thing we can do is we can set up a secondary cash register if that ends up being an ongoing issue that they queue up too much. That can be a thing, but yeah. I'm not too worried about it, to be honest. We don't really care too much. Of course we care a little, but we don't care too much about the shop. We just need it to be, I mean, not, it doesn't need to be profitable, but it does need to be, what's it called? It does sort of, it needs to make the amount of money that we're spending in the factory, right? This is a pretty good bulk order, but we don't have perfume soaps, which is not going to be able to make it, and this one could be worth doing as well if we do have a, we don't have a Mars right here. It's today though, so I'm not really, if we just so happen to do it, that's fine, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Okay, let's go up some floors and see where we're using fruit wine. We're using fruit wine here for the gloom spores for transformation potions. It's really not a lot, and it's running on advanced fertilizer, so don't care too much about that. Do we have any fruit wine? Okay, we did hook it up, we just didn't get rid of these malachites. Cool. There's no fruit wine here, it doesn't seem. Just wanted to look down here as well. This is just the, this is brine, right? Yeah. We are backed up on growth potions in general, which means they aren't running as much, and the cost savings that we're doing with brine isn't that big of a deal anyways. But I can see that they are running these machines here, so I'm just gonna turn off their connection with the brine so that doesn't happen. Maybe that's not the way. Maybe I should turn off their money instead. Let them run out the last. That would probably be better, but I'll have to be either in the next episode or between episodes. No fruit wine here. We have a lot of fruit wine here on this floor. We're gonna get it in here for sure. That is for brandy making, and we can't do anything different in that regard. So fruit wine was the next one over. Or we could actually have it one closer to the wall, that's okay. So that's gonna be fruit wine there. To be honest, I almost wanna bring it all the way over here. Like that. That should give us enough fruit wine to expand this without getting any more nurseries, and we can tear down the nurseries eventually as well. Then we can, we're at 8 there, okay. No, we're at 7. So what is at 8? There's no, That's lavender, but that's in the Olympics, so we can't really do anything about that. But we do have these linseed extractors here that we would like to get rid of. These ones I would just like to get rid of entirely because they're using our panacea potions. So that sort of helps out there. What is this thing? That's the fertile catalysts. Why aren't they being produced? No gloom spores. Why? Why no gloom spores? No fuel in the furnace, okay. No, that makes perfect sense because I took that out. Okay. So it's running, it's coming from upstairs, and then it's just gonna be such a large buffer. That's so annoying, but that's just the way it's gonna have to be. I'm just gonna throw in 3 here, and that's pretty much, I mean, it's just gonna run forever, pretty much. Question is if let's just get rid of that for now, to be honest. Just, there's no point in buffering it on that. It's gonna run for so long with 4 panacea potions. But that takes care of linseed once we hook it up proper. This is also whatchamacallit, fruit wine. Just gotta hook that up, and then this can scale better. Or it will be able to scale at least. Cool, cool, cool. That was 12. No, that was 11, I guess, so maybe it was 10. Or it was something completely different. But there's none of those things in the Mars, so let's just head up to 17 so we can bring down the ones that we have. And that is gonna fit pretty well with that was all of our... No, come on. Okay. little bit of iron here. Gosh darn it. They seem to have stopped for the... Oh, there's also some linseed oil here. I have to take a look at that as well. 7. Up. Get some of that iron before it disappears. We'll get to floor 10. No, no, no. God damn it. Oh yeah, so no stairs to fall off of, but this outside thing here doesn't really do me any favors. It's just typical. I'm not sure if I could actually build walls out there. No, I could. Could build walls. Interesting. Maybe I'll end up doing that if I fall down too many times, then we can wall it in and that shouldn't be an issue. Yeah, 10 seemed like a good... Well, 9 makes more sense because it's on the left side. But yeah, we do have the linseed for the copper, so we gotta do that one too. Get rid of these pipes here sticking out. Don't need those. That's some excess iron then on the ground, but we should be able to just hook that up like so. And I think that should do it, right? This one has fruit wine at least. This doesn't have linseed oil. Still doing 38 salt. Of course, there was still some of it running, and there is one of our setups that uses salt regardless. Have to get linseed oil in here, and I know that the episode is technically over now. I just want to get these linseed things up and running. And that's not it. This is where, for the Saturns, we are doing salt. And we could, of course, swap out this giant setup for... I mean, how much salt are we doing? 240 for 2 stacks of those cauldrons that we did upstairs. It is going to be a lot cheaper to do so as well, so I mean there definitely could be something about it. Here's the other one for linseed. There's also some linseed here. Let's just get the fruit wine in here as well, just for good measure. I'm gonna have to run linseed on a lower level than the fruit wine. They can't run across each other. But that's gonna be fine. There we go, and also gotta get it over there somewhere. So let's just run it here, and then we can run it up. That was actually perfect. Then we just gotta get these two outside. Okay, yeah, so that is a snafu, of course. Can't do that on this lower floor. So we're gonna have to take them in. I think that might have cut it off. Oh no, it was that was another pipe. Gonna have to take them inside on the floor here and bring them down via the normal port. And we are exceeding our allotted time a bit too much, so I think I'll just do that in the beginning of the next episode, where we are also probably gonna focus on scaling up Panacea potions a little bit. Maybe not focus so much per se, as I want to do that in the beginning, and we'll see how much time we have. Maybe, I'm not saying we will, but maybe we'll have time to look into topaz and perfume soap. Hopefully we'll be able to have time to get sulfuric acid up and running, because we're gonna need that in order to make the Venus, which is the next relic that takes all of the potions we've created so far and puts it together with sulfuric acid in order to make this relic. It's going to be a really nice relic to make. It gives us a lot of experience. It also gives us a giant amount of gold. So yeah, that's going to be pretty sick. It's going to take us maybe a little bit to the next level per se in terms of money. We shouldn't be able to. We shouldn't worry that much afterwards. I think what we're probably going to do is we're going to, at least for most of the potions, we're gonna make a new separate build for them, just for the Venus, so that we can match the rate that is being requested. But apart from that, this is two. We need one more up, I think. I think this is the floor. Yep, this is the floor. So we gotta get those lines in here. We'll do that in the next episode, along with hopefully all those other things that I just mentioned. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a blast. I hope that you enjoyed this setup episode. It's not like we changed so much in the factory yet, but this will really allow us to scale our fluids so much better, so much easier. You'll be able to see that in the very near future for certain. And we did save a little bit of money on brine for sure. Anyways, thank you so much for watching again. Please leave a like, a comment, and of course subscribe to the channel so you can follow along with this series and any other series I am running. I'm currently playing Transport Fever 2 as well as Worldwide Rush, which is a little bit a different genre, but a lot of the same problems prop up. It's a lot of logistical challenges, so if you're into that sort of thing, check those things out, series out as well. And as always, I do wish we could have just one last turn. But alas, it's gonna have to wait till next time. I'll see you then.